Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so Nick Richards saga in Charlotte is over. He's being traded along with 1 second-round pick to the Phoenix Suns for Josh Okogie and 3 second-round picks. Where Phoenix is getting 3 second-round picks, I have no idea. Why Josh Okogie along with 3 second-round picks will get you Nick Richards is another thing entirely, and a second-round pick to go along with it. I got to look at those picks. I don't know what the format is on those second-rounders, so that might be the key to all this. But last I checked, Nick Richards is probably worth more in the market than Josh Okogie. So that makes sense in regards to sending 3 picks with Josh Okogie to Charlotte to bring back Nick Richards. So does that make any sense at all? I don't know. I'm trying to do the math on that, but my brain is a little scatterbrained as it pertains to this trade because I literally just looked at it and turned on the camera, so I didn't really do any thinking. But it's been, I was watching some content yesterday on the Phoenix Suns, and essentially what the guy was saying was that the Phoenix Suns have a bad center position situation. The centers that they have, none of them are ready, and so bringing in Nick Richards really helps with that. Josh Okogie going to the Charlotte Hornets. I like Josh Okogie. I don't think he's ever really developed to be what it is that the teams that he's been on would hope he would be, but he's had some good moments. Defensively, he's a guy, big body dude. I don't know what Charlotte is actually doing, bringing themselves so many of the same player in this regard. They tend to like these 6'8" dudes that play defense. You got Grant Williams, who's out for the season, and now you bring in Josh Okogie, who's basically poor man's Grant Williams in a way. You draft Tidjane Salaün, who's also that same type of player, but has different things to him. So it's like you keep getting the same dude over and over again who kind of do different things, but are the same body type, I guess. And that's kind of how I look at this. I don't really know what Charlotte is ever really doing, honestly, besides acquiring more draft equity for their talent. I thought that they could use moving on from a center, because they do have Mark Williams now healthy, playing well. You do have the new guy that they just drafted or gotten off free agent market. I'm not really sure where they got this guy from, but I can't think of his name, but he's been playing very well. Moussa Diabaté, I believe his name is. He's starting to play well, so you kind of want to give him more minutes. And Nick Richards is kind of just sitting there as a highly coveted player. It makes a lot of sense to bring him in as a nice role-playing center, high-level role-playing center, I guess. Not anybody too great, but somebody who's going to do a lot of damage and help their center rotation. Maybe give them some insurance on some of their other centers if they want to move on from them, or if they just don't want to play these people. So Plumlee is past his prime at this point, so you can kind of toss him into a trade without messing up your center position if you're the Phoenix Suns now. I know Nurkic is probably somebody they'd be happy to move. But if they can't move them, this gives them somebody they can throw in without having to dig into like rookies. Because of course they picked up a rookie center as well, but he's kind of undersized. I don't really know if he's ready to really help the Phoenix Suns for their timeline. So Nick Richards does, and I like the acquisition for the Phoenix Suns. I don't know where they're getting 3 second-round picks though. I don't know where they're getting those. I was under the impression they didn't have any more picks to trade. So they just keep finding picks somewhere. I don't know. They're giving them all away. 3 of them for role player here, 4 of them for that star. It's just, Phoenix doesn't believe in their future or in protecting themselves from a very bad future, and as a result, they're going to have a very bad future. Just being honest with you, Phoenix Suns is going to be awful in the future. And so for them and their fans, I hope they enjoy what they got going on right now. Hopefully they have a plan to move their stars, particularly KD and Booker, for draft equity so that can give them some sense of the future someday. If they plan on having those guys retire in their uniform, it's going to be a rebuild from hell that's going to probably last a very long time without any real good talent coming into their situation, without being a free agent signing there. And they're not the easiest place to get free agents, because Phoenix is not exactly somewhere people just have to go. So for me, it's a hell of a risk for a franchise that the only reason why they're able to get the people they're getting is because they have a Kevin Durant and a Booker who wants to play with them. So I don't know. This doesn't put them over the hump. Maybe this is the first of a series of moves that can maybe help their team. But as far as I can tell, there may not be a series of moves that they can do to put them over the hump, given the fact they've been struggling as bad as they have as of late. So I don't know. I like the move overall for Phoenix. I think it's a good acquisition for their situation. It improves their center position, for which they really could use some help on. They have some other needs as well, but at least you can see them turning a guy like Josh Okogie, who they probably could use, but not nearly as much as this centerpiece that they brought in. So, and overall, bringing in more valuable players, I guess. Upgrading that, but you move picks to do it, so you're paying for that. But I can see them now having a piece in the offseason, like Nick Richards, to maybe add with a Grayson Allen and maybe improve some kind of way or something like that. You know, whatever they choose to do, this brings them something more attractive from which to kind of create flexibility somehow. So if they can give Nick Richards the role that he can use, that would ultimately make him as good as he can be, I think he could be a good retrade player for them. So, you know, that's what you're looking at. That's what you're hoping for if you're the Phoenix Suns. As I said, I don't think they're the worst team in making little small moves. I talked about that in the offseason. I think they're okay at it. I think they've done a pretty good job for the last 2 years bringing themselves solid role players around that trio. I just don't think that trio really fits. And I don't think bringing in Bradley Beal's no trade clause was anything short of a poison pill for their future. If they would have just kept it at Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, they would have been in a position to where I think their team would be pretty good. But because they wanted to go all in for Beal, I don't think they're any good at all. And I think that's what it really comes down to for me. I just don't believe in the team's vision to begin with. And so, yeah, man, we'll see what happens. I just think that team, at the end of the day, they're going to have to find a way to create flexibility for their short to long term, their mid to long term future. The owner is just intentional on not giving a damn about the future of the team, and that's very unfortunate for the fans, man. It really is. You know, I've heard people say good things about him. He takes care of his people, and you know, he's very people friendly as it pertains to the way that he's going about, you know, making things affordable and stuff like that, which is wonderful. I think that's a good thing. But if you're going to put bad product on the floor, it offsets it to where people are still playing for product that can't win. So, you know, I say he's stupid money. That's what it is to me. Come in with a lot of money doing stupid stuff that doesn't respect the rules and the environment and the layout of what it is that you've bought into. And it shouldn't be allowed. I really don't think it should be allowed. So that's my point of view on that. But, you know, I hear everybody saying he's a pretty good owner as it pertains to taking care of people, and I'll put that in my Rolodex of things to think about as well in regards to him. So it is what it is, man. You just got to do the best you can if you're Phoenix. Try to make this thing a champion if possible. I don't believe it's possible to get rid of the Bradley Beal contract so long as he has a no-trade clause on it. If I were Matt Ishbia and I got money to burn, I'm buying him out of that no-trade clause contract. Now, I don't know if the letter of the law would allow them to simply throw cash at the situation. That might be the problem. And stretching it may make it so that you're paying him for the next 10 years or whatever. That may be a bigger problem. But that contract's not going anywhere, put it like that. And that's the problem with the Phoenix Suns. So that's pretty much my take on it, man. I think the Phoenix Suns are a team that has a wide variety of possible outcomes. Maybe they win a championship if things all line up the right way to get the right path. Maybe they miss the playoffs entirely and help the OKC Thunder, I believe is who has their pick. I think it is OKC, get like a top pick this year. It's a wide variety of outcomes. So, yeah, man, I don't particularly think the Phoenix Suns are in the greatest spot, but I do think that they got better on the court today. And it took them 3 future second rounders and Josh Okogie to accomplish that. So as far as Charlotte, they're just tanking, man. They're taking their heads off. I don't know why they make a trade like this other than to just get 3 second round pick equity. And I could argue that Josh Okogie and 3 second-round picks. It's a pretty decent return, I guess you could say, for Nick Richards. I think that's pretty solid. You get a player, and then you get the 3 picks. A player that can help with the defense. A player that maybe, at best he could turn into somebody that's a real role player for your team in the future. You have some nice defensive pieces when Grant Williams comes back next year. If Josh Okogie's still on, maybe he's an expiring contract. I don't know. If he's expiring, even better. So, if you're Charlotte, that's a good return. I don't know that anybody else is offering 2-3 second-round picks for Nick Richards. I don't know. If you're the Lakers, you probably feel like you missed out on another one of those pieces that everybody seemed to think that you're entitled to. That's something that my team is. We're always thinking that some name is ours. That's what it is. Nick Richards, I know it's a lot of people just miserable. Rob Pelinka, you didn't get Nick Richards. Nick Richards is a nice center, man, but I don't know that he's that much of a change from the center position backups that we have right now, to be honest with you. And I would not have wanted to give up 3 second-round picks and a guy for him. I wouldn't have wanted to do that. Maybe 2, but I wouldn't have went up to 3. Nah, I wouldn't have did that. So we were going to get outbidded if Phoenix was doing stuff like that. So I don't know, man. Hopefully Josh Okogie can get bought out. I think he would be a good candidate to go to another team. I don't know which team necessarily. I don't have that in my head, but somebody who can use what he is. Somebody who can play some defense and rebound and just do some energy stuff off the bench. So maybe he's a buyout candidate in Charlotte. I think it's possible. So that's what comes to mind, man. That's what comes to mind. I don't doubt that Nick Richards is going to have a good role in Phoenix because they really could use another center, a better set of centers. And, I think especially if they do some more movement, they may be able to pull off giving him a real role and kind of doubling their return on value for Nick Richards, who's already shown some pop in a place that people aren't paying attention to in Charlotte. So in a plethora of centers around him. So I think the idea that he could play better in Phoenix isn't crazy at all. Iguodaro's minutes, that's who I was thinking about, the center that they probably don't want to play right now because he's a little young, not very defensive, probably has some undersized stuff going on there. So he's probably going to step in front of him for certain. And get probably about 15-20 minutes off the bench a night, maybe even more, depending on how injuries go. Nurkic in and out of the lineup, Plumlee pretty much being done, that kind of thing. So this is all good for Phoenix. I just don't know if they're the team that should be giving up any tradable draft equity for any reason anymore. But, if they're willing to do it for themselves, then I think this is pretty good use of that value, I guess. Assuming they weren't bidding against themselves, which I don't think they were. So that's pretty much my take on that trade, man. Nothing too serious, but it does show that the market is open for business, that trades can be made to get things going for themselves in regards to your team. So Nick Richards off the board, man. He goes to Phoenix. BDL 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.